All right, so I was trying to do a video here, and a gnat started flying in my face. This video here is on complaints mounting against Michelle Obama's new lunch menu. Long story short, basically children do not want to eat this stupid fucking menu. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this link here. I'm using a new recording thingy, so bear with me. Eric Schaffhauser. This here was interesting to me. Here's this, students trash veggies rather than eat them. So basically what's happened here is this. The Obama administration, the socialists they mandated down to the schools to have these healthier meals. Sounds good. Sounds great, right? Because everyone's against fast. Everyone's against fat people right now. Everyone's hating on obesity. So it's the evil of everything. Everyone, even Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, everyone's against obesity. It's the evil of all. Even though obesity itself is merely a symptom. It's a symptom. Obesity is a symptom. It's not a causal factor of anything. Obesity is not a causal factor. But anyways, one thing I did notice here was basically these kids are these nasty vegetables. They're getting them on their plate, but they're not eating them. So essentially, they're having to choose. They're probably just eating the protein, if they're eating that, because probably some girls won't even eat the protein. A lot of them are going hungry throughout the day because they're simply not eating the food. Typical progressives, unintended consequences, blowback, whatever you want to call it. But what I noticed was, see these vegetables right here. Look how dry. Would you want to eat those? And see, this is one thing I've always sort of, maybe it's because I'm still kind of a kid at heart, but I don't understand why we apply like separate levels of expectations to children as we do adults. It doesn't make any sense to me. So, in other words, it's like we're a parent is sitting there forcing their young child to eat his peas. Why? I would love to come into the house in that situation, just walk in that fucking house with that parent, the father is doing that, and ask that father, what is there a particular food that you hate? And then force that fucking food down his throat. Physically force it down his throat. Eat it, eat it, eat it. Sit there until you eat it. And have a whole bunch of strong guys come in here and force him to eat it. That's what we should do. Not going to happen. Still pisses me off. So back to this. We have the broccoli here. We have carrots. Of course, it doesn't look like there's not going to be any butter on them because that's unhealthy. Butter is fucking unhealthy now. Bullshit. Um, okay. I'm not going to say I've been on diets, but I've toyed with diets. I've read about diets. I've read the Atkins book. There was South Beach. They're all kind of similar, though, the good ones. Food Lovers Diet, which is probably one of the better ones I've seen. Um, and everyone has their own opinions on, what works, what doesn't work. So today I went over to a restaurant down the street here. Unfortunately, it's pretty close, which is kind of dangerous for me. It's dangerous in terms of the wallet, but actually that's what I like about them is they have healthier options. So one thing I've been trying to do here in Oklahoma, we're not very big on fish. As a result, I've been trying to change my eating habits. It's been very difficult for me because here in Oklahoma, it's all about steak, chicken fried steak, hamburgers over and over again. For me, in the past, my diet consisted of burgers, calzone, pizza, pasta. Healthy, right? Yeah, that's why I'm fucking fat. So over the last year and a half, I have been working to incorporate new things into my diet to where I'm eating a variety of foods. That's really my only goal right now is to clear away, stop eating the burgers all the time, stop eating the calzone all the time, the pizza, incorporate other things into my diet. And the biggest thing I've been adding is fish because it's healthier. I like it, I think, better actually than chicken. I know I do now, but I wasn't too sure about it in the past. But I actually think I like fish now better than I do steak, chicken, or beef. But it's taken a long time to get there. But anyways, this place I go to, Charleston's down the street. You may have a Charleston's in your area. I don't know. They make some they make some awesome fish. I got to give them credit because they do it. They blacken it, but it's kind of a light blacken, and it's just it's cooked to perfection. There's like this little um, acidic, watery. I don't know if it's butter. It doesn't seem buttery, but it's like glistening in the light, and it's real acidic. And you add a little salt to it, and it combines with the fish, and then they give you some nice little rice with some little vegetables in there. And then they combine it with, and here's what I'm getting at, they combine the fish with some vegetables and butter and some pepper and some salt. Oh, the vegetables might be better than the fish. But here's the thing. The fact that the vegetables are covered with butter, I mean, it's not like a huge dollop of butter, but it's in there like with a lime, lemony, peppery butter sauce. And yeah, I'm sure there's fat in that, but I mean, you got to eat fat. That's the point of eating is you're eating fat. I mean, that's the whole point. Of course, unless you're these kids, you're not eating anything. But that's what makes me eat it. Now, I can eat them without butter. Of course, I'm going to have to add salt to them. So there's going to be something on there. I mean, there's going to be salt or butter. There's going to be some sort of acid on that, or I'm not going to want to eat it. Are these kids really any different? He's getting a big, healthy spoonful there of dry carrots. Now, if you go down to this restaurant down the end street, their carrots are ridiculous. They're in like this honey pepper glaze. Oh, it's awesome. Best carrots I've ever had. So this is a classic example. I'm a human. I'm an adult. I want food that tastes good. Are kids really any different? No, of course not. But what this proves is that government can't do this. Government can't micromanage eating, schools. So I have a little bit of a suggestion. Why don't we cut the school day down to 4 hours? 4 hours. You be here 4 hours. You go now. You scare my wife. Okay, I got a little sidetracked there. 4 hours. It's after lunch and before dinner. And you're done. That's it. Go home. That's it. It's after lunch and before dinner. That way they don't have to feed them. Of course, we know why that wouldn't happen. School is basically just a babysitting tool. But I've always known it was bullshit even when I was in high school and junior high. I knew that this is bullshit. It is kind of fascinating that they use it as daycare. It's like, I think we all know that, don't we? So this story here, though, kind of goes in line with one of my pet peeves is how sometimes the mainstream media, they pound away at an issue. And sometimes, now, recently, remember the guy who chewed off someone's face? They tried to insinuate that he did it because of pot. Remember that? And that pissed all libertarians off. Because we see it as just demonizing marijuana users. So, of course, what if he'd been drinking alcohol? Of course, they never test that. They only test drugs. They don't, I mean, I don't think they tested it. Even if they did, they certainly wouldn't report it. Because they don't care if he's drinking alcohol because that's legal. So, because it's legal, and that means he didn't do it because legal things don't make you do negative things. I mean, this is the level of the stupidity we're dealing with in the mainstream media. But they do the same demonization with this whole obesity thing, and it pisses me off because I don't like lies. I don't like intellectual dishonesty. I can't stand it. And as someone who is obese and has dealt with it most of my life, I understand that it's not that simple. It's very complex, especially for people who are overweight or even worse, obese. And it's hard sometimes for people who are not obese or overweight to understand that it's not as simple. And it reminds me, actually, when I was a little kid, I was very thin. And I couldn't understand. I remember, like, I was skinny, and there were these kids that were fat, and I literally could not comprehend why they couldn't run fast. It just couldn't compute in my brain. I couldn't fathom. I thought, well, so what if they're fast? I mean, they're fat. They still should be able to run fast. I guess apparently I could run fast. But I literally could not comprehend it. I just couldn't. I mean, I was pretty young. But I remember sitting there trying to figure out why they couldn't run fast. Just make the fat move. And I think that's something that we deal with today. And the reason I'm even talking about it is because obesity is a lifestyle situation. Obesity occurs because you have an unhealthy lifestyle. Lifestyle means food or eating habits, but it also means your physical activity level. And I even think it means your emotional or mental stability. Basically, are you happy? You know, so I would say it's a three-pronged attack. And then that's just one part of it. The the obesity is a result of not eating healthy, of not getting enough exercise, of probably not being happy in general. Because the thing is, if you're happy, you will probably want to exercise, and then you will probably start eating better. Yeah, that can be tough. The eating better does take a lot of time, and that's something I'm working on right now. Is the eating better, and I've done a really good job of it. I'm proud of myself because fish is starting to become my favorite food. I'm proud to say, and it's a big deal because here in Oklahoma, it's just I mean, it's just all burgers and steaks, so it is a big deal. In fact, we have a supermarket here that I go to, Crest. They have a hard time even keeping certain fishes in because no one buys them. And of course, that's right about the time that I start looking to buy a lot of fish. Um, but one of the bigger problems actually of trying to eat healthy is that it's more expensive. And that's something a lot of people don't talk about. And when I say eat healthy, um, I'm talking really to eat healthy. You have to have a lot of fresh protein, um, and you're trying to avoid a lot of carbs. Although I'm not one of these people that just gets rid of carbs, and I'm not really on quote a diet. I'm just trying right now. I'm just trying to change my eating habits because out of all the things I've always known, or at least over the last several years, I've known the reason I eat unhealthy is because of my habits. I habitually eat the same unhealthy things over and over again. And then unless I A, have options in the kitchen that are healthy, or B, know what to make. A lot of times it's just simply not knowing what to make that's healthy. But if you have a list of 10 or 15 items in your brain that you can make that are relatively, good for you, they have a lot of variety, they have, vegetables, um, sandwich can sometimes be dangerous, but a lot of these sandwich meats you're getting anyways have no fat in them, um, which is actually can be a negative. Fat-free stuff can actually be worse for you in some ways because a lot of times they add more salt or they add more sugar, so it actually can make it worse. So that's something to watch. But because your body knows what to do with fat. It's some of the other shit that it doesn't know. It's like, what the hell is this? I'll just store it for emergencies. Well, actually, that would not be storing it, but anyway. So yeah, this is an interesting topic. I kind of got off on, went on la la land there. Went on a little bit of a tangent. But so here we have it. Government intervenes into the public schooling system, trying to make the food all healthy for the kids. Blowback, unintended consequences occur. Kids stop eating the lunches altogether. Now you're going to have a situation to where some of these kids are probably going to be malnourished because they're not going to be eating enough. I mean, if there's anyone who needs food, it's growing kids. I mean, I don't understand it. What is the government worried about? I mean, hell, when I was in high school, I was in high school right about the time that it started, the obesity, and I knew, everyone knew, the Coke machines were in the schools. The sons of bitches. And here's the funny thing. At our high school, they had people bring in pizza. Like it was high school, so you're like a little bit more mature, you can handle your own stuff. They also had them bring in Chick-fil-A. But, I didn't get fat from pizza at high school. You know why? Because I didn't want to look fat, so I'd get like one, maybe two slices. But if it was Friday night at home and we ordered pizza, oh, it won't get it. 3, 4. But I was young. I don't know. I could have put away. I really don't remember, honestly. I guess I blocked it out. I wanted to say maybe 8 slices at once. I mean, that was fucking huge. But was it really 8? Jesus Christ. And see, today, I'm lucky if I can put away, depending on the type of pizza, maybe 2 or 3. If I'm really hungry, 4, but I'm going to be paying for it, I'm not going to feel good. I'll be like, oh God, why did I do that? Oh, man. But see, in the 90s, that's kind of when it all started. And it's funny because in the 90s, that was when my mother remarried. And before then, it was just her and 3 boys. And I'm the youngest of 2 older brothers. And I don't remember food ever really being what it became. It was really weird because it was like as soon as they got married, as soon as we hit the 90s, suddenly food just, maybe because we had more money, and it became so important. It was such a big deal. It was so much fun. All this food that's out there they'd be eating. And then in the 90s was when the delivery pizza thing hit. Because I don't know if a lot of you know that, but in the 80s it wasn't that big. But in the 90s, bam, man, it was Pizza Inn, Pizza Hut, all these places delivering, and you could have all this pizza. And they had we had 5 kids in the family, so pizza sometimes it was there. I mean, so the problem's not necessarily pizza; it's just our fat asses eating it, not exercising. So, and at the same time, that's when Pepsi. And it's funny because it kind of both hit at the same time. When they got married, and then I started. Actually, all of us started drinking soda and eating pizza all the time. So I could probably say that really, I mean, my lack of exercise and the whole Pepsi, Coke, and pizza fad in the 90s is really what caused me to put on all the weight. I can literally blame it on that. Although again, the food itself is actually not the cause. I mean, I firmly believe that. It was probably my emotional state, my immaturity, not being able to deal with certain things, and I'm putting all my focus into food. But you're young. Kids do stuff like that. Kids can be screwed up, especially when you're gay. Yeah, so I wasn't gonna have sex anyways. I didn't give a fuck. So, man, I've got this little gnat that is like chasing me. He's really fucking annoying. I hope he dies. Hope he gets obesity and dies. Huh? So anyways, this is kind of a rambling video, but I'm a little excited because I've got this new thing here recording and it's just letting me talk, and I usually have like a 5-minute limit. This is letting me just ramble the fuck on, and it's getting it. So yeah, here you see it. This was on these kids being forced to eat these stupid fucking, and actually, let me go back. I wanted to point something out here that was hilarious. One of the food items that they're trying to force elementary schools to eat was this here. Nancy Carvalho, Director of Food Services for New Bedford Public Schools, was quoted as saying that hummus and black bean salads have been tough sells in elementary cafeterias. Fucking hummus and black bean salads for kids in elementary school. Now, I don't know, maybe you've got some badass ninja child who can eat that shit. I don't know of one kid on earth, me included, who could eat that shit. Name an adult who would want, this is good. I mean, that's unbelievable. So it's like you're dealing with multiple levels here. It's like, even if I were a progressive, I would still think this is fucking stupid. Who's making this list? Who's making this stuff? So, yeah, progressive fuck-ups. Clusterfuck-a-fell, classic progressivism, unintended consequences, and that's what we're going to see. So now we've got basically young children who are going hungry throughout the school day because of Michelle Obama's wonderful lunch menu. Thank you, Michelle. And they're not going to change it. Or if they do, just make it worse. And I don't even understand what their goal is. Because the thing is, I guess the reason I keep talking about this is because I know that as someone who has dealt with obesity and overweight his whole life, the details in terms of like what you eat. In other words, if you eat some food that has you can't make a lunch menu that's going to cause kids to lose weight. It's impossible. It's not that easy. You can't just press a button. For every action, there's a reaction. So if the menu works for 10% of the kids in a positive way, it's going to have a negative effect on the other kids. Either they won't like it, they won't eat it, and of course if they don't eat it, then that's unhealthy. They don't eat anything. There's a reason why parents struggle to get their kids to eat, and they have to cook certain things to get them to eat it. It's because they're kids. I mean, not all kids like things. So, it's unbelievable. I can't believe I'm still talking about this. Anyways, see ya.